When a massive company sells off one of its divisions, it's way more than just paperwork. It's what you could call a digital divorce. Seriously, just try to imagine untangling two businesses that have spent decades sharing the same digital nervous system. It is messy, it's incredibly complex, and the stakes couldn't be higher. So how in the world do you pull it off without everything crashing down? Let's get into the blueprint.
All right, we're going to follow this whole story from start to finish. First, we'll get our heads around the sheer chaos of the digital divorce. Then, we'll look at the super bold, clean slate solution they went with. After that, we'll check out the crazy fast 4-week blueprint that set the stage, see how they actually made the digital move, and finally, we'll look at the incredible results, the public cloud payoff.
So, let's paint the picture here. A big business unit is being sold. The problem? For years, it's been running on the parent company's enormous, super customized IT systems. I mean, think of it like a limb that shares the exact same heart, lungs, and brain as the rest of the body. Now you've got to surgically remove it and somehow give it its own perfectly functioning set of vital organs, like overnight.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually do this? The new company is legally required to be fully independent and operational from its very first day. Any slip-up here isn't just a tech issue. It's a potential business-ending catastrophe. No pressure, right?
This slide just nails the core problem. On one side, you've got the parent company, this massive, tangled behemoth of complex, custom, and really expensive systems. But the new company? It needs to be a sleek rocket ship. It has to be lean, fast, and built on standard stuff that doesn't cost a fortune to run. You just can't copy-paste the old world into the new one. It would never work. So instead of trying to perform some kind of risky, complicated surgery on all those old systems, the team made a really bold call. Forget the old way. Just leave it all behind. It was time for a clean slate, a complete and total fresh start. And that one decision, it changed the entire game. The tool they landed on was a cloud-based system called SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud. So what is that? Well, it's basically a pre-built standardized toolkit for running pretty much an entire business. The analogy here is perfect. Instead of spending years trying to renovate a sprawling old mansion filled with weird plumbing and creaky floors, you just move into a brand new, fully serviced apartment. Everything just works right out of the box. It's efficient and it's built for right now.
This was the real aha moment. So why was this the right move? Well, first off, speed. Using standard pre-built processes is just so much faster than building everything from scratch. Second, the cost. It's a subscription, so you avoid all those huge upfront costs. Third, and this is a big one, you leave all that old, clunky custom code behind. No more technical baggage, and finally, it's future-ready. As the new company grows, the system just scales right up with it.
Okay, so picking the right tool is one thing, but you still need a rock-solid plan. And you need it like yesterday. This brings us to this absolutely critical planning phase they called rapid discovery, where they created the entire blueprint for success in just 4 weeks. 4 weeks!
And this gets to the golden rule of the whole project. You do not start building anything until that blueprint is perfect. In a high-stakes move like this, a solid plan isn't just a nice idea. It's literally the only thing standing between a smooth launch and a complete day-one disaster.
So what do you actually get out of this intense 4-week sprint? Well, you get 4 absolutely crucial things that basically de-risk the entire project. First, you get a super precise business scope. What exactly is moving over? Second, a data plan. What's the essential information we have to bring? Third, an integration map. What other apps need to connect to this thing? And finally, the roadmap, which locks in the final cost and the timeline. No more guessing. All right, blueprint is locked in. Now it's go time. We're moving from all that planning to the actual digital move, which is all broken down into these clear, manageable phases. And every single phase is designed to guarantee that day-one readiness we keep talking about. So here's the entire playbook laid out. You've got that initial 4-week discovery sprint, and then they dive right into building the system. But look closely here. The integration and testing part doesn't wait until the end. It happens at the same time as the build. Doing those things in parallel is the secret sauce for moving this fast. The whole journey is just meticulously planned. It's like a marathon, but run at a sprinter's pace. So what does this all look like in practice? Well, it's a huge simplification. Instead of juggling all these separate, clunky systems for things like procurement and HR, the new company gets all that functionality built right into its core system. That old, tangled web of custom connections just gets replaced by a clean, modern, and totally unified system.
It's just simpler. So we've seen the problem, the solution, and the plan. Now for the best part, the payoff. Why was this clean slate public cloud approach the absolute winner? Let's get into the hard numbers, because this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, just look at this chart. The difference is night and day. Look at the time. We're talking weeks to get a basic system up, not the 5 to 7 months a traditional approach would take. And because you're fitting to a standard model, instead of building custom everything, the effort, the cost, and even the size of the team you need are all way, way lower. It's not just a small improvement, it's a complete blowout win in every single category.
And if that table wasn't clear enough, this bar chart just screams it at you. The time it takes to get to a working system is cut by more than half. I mean, when you are facing a hard legal deadline to operate on your own, that's not just a nice little efficiency gain, that's the difference between success and total failure. This speed is what made the whole thing possible.
At the end of the day, this approach wasn't just about hitting a deadline. It was about building the right foundation for the new company's future. The result is a business that starts on day one with a system that is clean, fast, cost-efficient, and totally ready to grow.
So if we boil all this down, what are the big lessons here? First, that even a massively complex digital divorce is totally possible on a tight schedule if you have the right strategy. Second, starting fresh with a clean slate is the absolute best way to avoid inheriting all the problems and costs from the past. And third, going with a standard, cloud-first approach isn't just a tech decision. It delivers huge, measurable savings in time, effort, and money.
And all of this leaves us with one last big idea to think about. In a world where businesses have to constantly change and adapt to survive, is the ability to just hit the reset button and start with a clean slate becoming the most valuable superpower a company can have? Something to chew on.